Hey, what's going on, everybody? Max here with BB, and today for 10 Minutes Max, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, the crypto cycle that we're in, and why I think there's a pretty good chance that we see fresh all-time highs, at least by summer, but potentially even before summer times. And if you stick around, there might be a little bit of an Easter egg for a very juicy deal somewhere within our video. Bitcoin obviously recovering quite nicely off of this low right here. Something that we were talking about in a previous video was how Bitcoin was really stuck at a must hold level. And let me just modify this indicator here real quick. What we have right here is our 365-day rolling VWAP, guys. Now, this is a very significant level. This is truly your kind of bull market support region, okay? Now, let me just show you why I say that. Well, we bottomed at this same VWAP here on the August 5th nuke, and then again got pretty close to it, kind of double bottom region, when we came back to it in September. When we exited the bear market, obviously you can see we were in the bear, FTX collapses, we spring off that low, flip it, hold it, deviate it. We've been above it ever since, right? Ever since this cycle began, you can see that we've been above our yearly rolling VWAP. And then going back to the previous cycle, you can see what happens here when we get below it, right? Deviations are okay. Obviously, right here, we had a wick, spent, half of a week below it. Obviously, ended up being, a fake breakdown and reclaim. When the bear market was beginning, we nuked right to it, held above it, and then once we finally dropped below it, the bear market began, okay? And, we can go back time. I can go to another chart too that has a little bit more price history. I just want to show this real quick, and then we'll kind of keep it moving. You can see even back over here, 2 cycles ago, the entire bull market from 2015, we were above it, above it, above it, above it, above it. Drop down to it. We finally lost it, and then we had the bear market, right? So you can see the significance of staying above your yearly rolling VWAP, and wouldn't you know it, we held exactly where we needed to. Now, there's something that's even more significant about what's happening here, okay? Now, I'm going to mark out some prominent highs and some prominent lows, right? So here's our all-time high as of right now. We'll put this in red. Okay, so all-time high, you drop down, print another high, you drop down, print another high, drop down, print another high, drop down. Now, what do you notice right here? Well, we've been basically in a downtrend since January 20th. Funny enough, Trump takes office. Here's our downtrend. Right here. So basically, since January 20th, and now it's April 24th, okay, it's been over a full quarter of a downtrend, guys. We've been printing lower lows and higher lows, right? We've just been in this downtrend. Or I'm sorry, we've been printing lower lows and lower highs, okay? We've been printing lower lows and lower highs since Trump took office. Now, what did we just do over here? All right, let me turn these off just to make it super clear, because I think it's important to understand what's really going on here. For the first time since January 20th, we now have a shift of market structure, a market structure break to the upside. This is very, very significant here, guys. And I'll just make this a little bit more visible for you guys. We finally had a market structure break to the upside, the first one that we've had since this horrific downtrend has began. All right, so now looks like we've at least printed kind of a preliminary high. Maybe this is the low. Maybe we end up pulling back a little bit more. We'll talk about that. But we finally had a market structure break after being in over 3 months, over 100 days specifically, of a downtrend, and a grueling one. This is very, 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 very significant. So I see a lot of people out there right now that have kind of been conditioned to just short every single rip, and for good reason, right? Every single time we've had any price action that moves up, we end up seeing a reversal. It's been very frustrating and very, very annoying. But I'm here to tell you that this time is in fact slightly different because we finally had a market structure break to the top side. Now, the hope here is that, we can keep climbing, right? And printing higher highs and higher lows, just like over here. We were printing lower lows and lower highs, right? So, really simply, right? This time might in fact be different. We have some evidence to show that this time might actually be different. Now, where's the potential issues that we run into around here, right? Like, what do we have to look out for? Because this was a bad sell off, and it's usually not going to be one where it's just so quick to, like, reverse, no problem. Well, I've been telling everybody on our live show Market Check, and also I think I made a video maybe a few weeks ago talking about this, where for the time being, you're probably best served just playing this like a range. Okay. So we have range low, we have range high, we have our mid range, right? Lots of interaction. We held our rolling VWAP, which is beautiful. You want to probably be a little cautious around this region, right? Ranges love symmetry. So if you get a deviation of the low, you're probably going to get a deviation of the high. So just keep an eye out for something like that. But that's not all, right? You could look at that and be like, they're just silly lines. Well, in one regard, you're right. But also, we can back it up with volume. Okay, we can back it up with volume. So let's take a look at this visible range volume profile right here. Now, this is showing all the volume that has occurred for the entirety of the chart that's visible here. Okay, so I basically just have it going back to like mid-October. Okay, we could move it a little bit. Doesn't really matter. Okay, now what we can easily do here is put on something that's called our point of control. Okay, the point of control is that red line. The point of control is more or less defined as the region in which the most transacting occurred. Okay, so the most transacting occurred up here at specifically 96.6, 96.7. Okay, so right now we're at 93.6. So a few thousand points above head. Now, a point of control will work in a couple different ways. If it's above you, it's called supply or just resistance. If it's below you, it's going to be support. Okay. So there's even more confluence to just overhead here that, hey, this is a sticky region. This region on the chart is where the most transacting has occurred. Okay. So obviously, if the most transacting occurred up in here and then we broke down, that means that anybody that was buying this level up here is not looking good and they would maybe consider selling it if they got back to break even. Or if people here were shorting, because this is just measuring volume, not whether it's buying or selling. If they were shorting, this is coming back to retest their entries, which will, of course, potentially motivate them to actually step in front of it with some more size, double, triple, quadruple down, and protect their entries and protect those positions. So again, it's a very sticky level, right? It's certainly possible that we just slice through it and, we just go right up here and then we come back and flip it and hold it as support. That would be obviously, a dream come true. But I would say more times than not, you'll find a little bit of stubbornness, right? So, maybe it's possible that we do something like this, right? We could maybe venture up to the point of control, deviate, chop, distribute, come down, do something like this. And we were just talking about how, now we're in an uptrend, right? So we were in a downtrend, redraw the downtrend here, just like this. We have a market structure break right here. And, maybe then this is your first kind of prominent high. And then you come back and you set your first high time frame higher low, right? Actually, I forgot to draw this one. First high time frame higher low, right? And then, hopefully that would send you to another higher high. And then we're officially in an uptrend, right? But I think the important thing about all of this that's happening here is that, we were in a downtrend for basically like 2 months. All right. And within like, 48 hours, we just basically engulfed 2 months of bearish price action. Being bearish is a tough way to make a living, right? When things start moving, they go quickly, at least for the bulls. So you love to see that. Anybody that was shorting or selling down here is now cooked, right? They've got a tough decision to make. Do I try to buy it here? Do we flip this level? Do I hope that we, move up to 98 and then reject and I can try to bid 89 or something like that? No one really knows what the path is going to be, but we're seeing some strength here that we haven't seen in quite some time. Okay, which is very, very encouraging. Now, let's actually move over to BB Terminal, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I think could happen. Now, again, this is our state of the art product built and brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We spent well over a year meticulously curating this thing. It has hundreds of custom proprietary indicators, charts, everything that we use as a collective, as a team to help us navigate markets. We basically have taken all of the best products, some already existing, and a lot of them are custom as well. That we made. This one is, it's just data we compiled, right? But we put this thing together, and when we built the BB terminal, we basically said we want all of our favorite tools and products, and we want them all in one spot. We have portfolio tracking, we have derivatives data with active trading. I mean, hundreds of indicators. We have spaghetti charts, heat maps, I mean, I'll show you a few more, right? But the point being is like this is your all-in-one. This is everything. Everything you would ever need to navigate crypto markets all on one super website, okay? And the Easter egg is that keep watching. At some point in the video, we're going to release a couple 30-day free trial codes, guys. It's going to be very, very limited. Okay, so keep watching the video. We're going to sprinkle in a very limited number of 30-day free trial codes so you can give this thing a rip for yourself, okay? Now, what we have right here is we have the current cycle, which is in kind of like that purplish color right there. We have the previous cycle in yellow, and then we have 2 cycles ago in green. Now, for those that have been in crypto a while, you know that things can be a little creepy how similar they are, right? This time is different, but not really, right? Every cycle has kind of little differences. But what you'll notice about all these charts, and this goes from bear market lows of all 3 cycles, including our current, and then going back to the previous 2, all the way basically through like the bear market bottom. And we can modify this to, a few months out or something like that, but we want all the data 3 months out. Now, what you'll notice here is that we go through little phases of being like overextended and then like oversold, right? So, for example, 2 cycles ago, the yellow cycle, you can see that we got out way in front of our skis. Or I'm sorry, last cycle, we got way out in front of our skis. We were way ahead, and then we come back through, and then we have COVID, and then we're like way behind, right? And then 2 cycles ago, right, we got off to a slow start. That's the green one. And then, we start curling up and up and up and up. And then only, kind of halfway through the cycle as mania commenced, we got like, way ahead, right? Very clean parabola. Let's look at again the yellow cycle, last cycle. We were ahead over here. Then because of COVID, we were below, kind of like just picture like a mean line, an average of all the cycles, okay? And then, we got way out in front of our skis when the bull market picked up. And then we had a really lengthy, painful kind of mid-cycle correction. And then we rallied to finish the cycle. And wouldn't you know, both cycles, 2 cycles ago and last cycle, took about the same amount of time. Look at my crosshairs. They both put in their blow-off tops within like a week of each other, okay? So when I look at this current cycle, the one in purple, I say, okay, this was March of last year. We were out in front of the previous 2 cycles. See right here? We were ahead of the previous 2 cycles. The price of where we were, ROI from bear market bottom through, where we are right now, was ahead of the previous 2 cycles. Then we go through a lengthy March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October correction. We sync up perfectly with the previous 2 cycles, and we pump. And now what are we doing? We've kind of fallen off course, right? Just like we have in the past. This isn't the only time we've been, ahead of schedule and then behind schedule, right? So when I look at where we're at right now, I think there's a pretty decent chance we could just kind of beeline it right up to where the previous 2 cycles were. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, within the next 50 to 100 days, I would expect us somewhere up in this region, right? Syncing up with the previous 2 cycles, just like we have in the past. Wouldn't be surprising at all. Let me show you another indicator. This is one of my favorites, okay? And, look how many indicators we have. I mean, just anything you could ever need or want, right? We got macro, we got crypto, the whole thing, right? This is one of my favorites. It's called Bitcoin terminal price, okay? Now, this is the Bitcoin terminal price. You can read about it down here. You can pause the video and read this. I don't want to take up too much time, okay? But here's the description of what it is. It's an on-chain metric. And fun fact, Bitcoin has never topped or bottomed without tagging the terminal price lines. So it's got 3 lines on here. The top one is the terminal price. The very bottom one is called the Bitcoin balanced price, and then like the green one that's right above the balance price is called the realized price. And again, you can Google it or look for definitions down here. But I'm using it as a technician, as somebody who trades. How do I navigate around this? So let's look at the first cycle. Bitcoin moves up, gets above the terminal price. That's the top. And then it bottoms right at the balance price and realized price, the bottom band. How about or 2 cycles ago? 2017, 2018 parabola sneaks its head above the realized price, enter the bear market, and look where we bottomed. Look where we bottomed. The top was above the terminal price, and the bottom was around the balance price and the realized price, right where those bands are. How about last cycle? Again, there's the bottom. Even COVID sniped the bottom there. We sneak our head above the terminal price, and that's effectively your top, right? We kind of had a scam rally back up, double top, very much so a new all-time high. But you could have sold there and just been done with the cycle, played some altcoin bounces, things like that, right? Now look at where we bottomed in the bear market this time around. FTX collapses, and look at where we bottomed. Right at the balance price, and right at the realized price, right down there at the bottom. Now, where are we right now? So right now, the Bitcoin terminal price is at 200K per Bitcoin. 200K. And every cycle so far, we have not topped without first peeking our head above the Bitcoin terminal price. So could that imply an over 200K Bitcoin this cycle? I think it potentially could. Certainly worth watching. It's going back to, 2012, 2013, and this has been a trend using on-chain data to determine where kind of cyclical highs and lows will form, and it hasn't been wrong yet. It's absolutely fantastic, okay? So there's just kind of a little like sneak preview on terminal. Again, I'll show you a few more little things here. We have some awesome heat maps here, description of, what you're looking at. Close that for a little bigger picture, right? Some of the best in the business here, guys. It's got everything all in one, all the data you could ever need or want to navigate markets. We have so many different tickers. I mean, you could look at, we have ETH on every single exchange, right? I mean, it's got literally anything you could ever need or want to navigate markets, guys. We got our super charts over here, guys, showing you active trading. Look at all the real trades coming through in real time. We got liquidations right here. Of course, just your standard kind of open interest, things like that. Here's a cool one that I like to use. This is a spot versus perps basis. We'll zoom out a little bit and you can see, like, look, when things start to heat up, look at how this chart changes, right? The whole basis changes. Look at all these, highs over here. Right, adding even more confluence, like, when this basis flips positive for spot versus perps, you're getting a little frothy, right? Got frothy over here. Your low was then again red. Frothy at this high was green. You know, accumulation when the basis is negative. Again, frothy when the basis is positive. Look at the basis is still deeply, deeply red over here. Talk to me when the thing flips, flips and gets green, right? And then, again, we can look at something like, funding rate over here. Typically, your bottoms will form. Great for charting too. When you get periods of prolonged negative funding, right? Look at what we've been dealing with over here. Periods of negative funding. It's still negative. We still haven't flipped positive yet, guys. Like, we're about to see probably a big, big, big rally here, in my opinion, right? A huge rally. Okay. Big rally. And then again, we got something like spaghetti charts too, and, this is actually kinda funny, I was looking at this earlier. I mean, look how strong Fartcoin has been against everything else in the market, right? So what we're looking at here, we got Fartcoin up top, and then looks like it's kind of hidden behind my face here. I can hide it. You can see Pepe, Bitcoin, Sol, Link, BNB, VeChain, Dot, XRP, ETH, right? It's pretty useful to kind of gauge like performance, like how things are really, like what tickers are stealing the mind share, which ones are performing the best, right? Yeah, you can toggle some on and off, things like that. But yeah, anyways, here is just kind of a little preview, right? Just kind of a little bit of a preview. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to give kind of a quick update, what I'm looking for out there. Reminder, keep an eye right here, guys. Keep an eye right here on this giant point of control. And hopefully you guys found the little Easter eggs that popped up during the stream. Again, try out BB Terminal, your all-in-one super tool, Swiss Army knife for everything crypto. It's got portfolio. I didn't even show you the portfolio tracker because it's got all my stuff on there, and I didn't want to completely docs every single thing that I'm holding, although most of you probably already know. But nonetheless, guys, we want to be your all-in-one data provider. We want you guys using our tools, and I want you to try it 30 days for free. All right, 30 days for free. Again, very limited number of people are going to be able to use that coupon, so get it before it runs out. Hopefully, the earlier people that are watching the video didn't get to it before some of the people maybe later. But anyways, guys, that is it. That is it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in.